Hello. So, we have already completed almost 11 chapters, and from today, we shall start with the 12th chapter, The Otter by Chinua Achebe. So, we are starting with a new chapter. So, it is very interesting chapter and it is very apt to this society and what we are living in, and it is about an election system, how it works. Okay, so we shall go through some details about the author and then we shall start with the lesson. Okay, so here is the information about the author in your textbook. If you have a textbook, you can open it and you can start with me. So, Chinua Achebe is a Nigerian novelist, poet, professor, and critic. Achebe's novels focus on the tradition of Igbo society, the effect of Christian influences, and the clash of Western and traditional Africans' values during and after the colonial era. So what we can see Chinua Achebe is a Nigerian novelist, poet and a professor. So he has written many novels and short stories, and the novels is what he writes so many novels, and the novels focus on Igbo society. Okay, so it is a Nigerian society, okay, African society, and it talks about the novels, most of the novels talks about Igbo society, okay, their society, like how we have our society, Indian society, our traditions, our norms, our values, morals. In similar way, he writes the novel based on Igbo society. Okay, so the effect of Christian influences, how from the Christian influences have started in society. Okay, and he also writes how the clash between Western and traditional. Okay, the Western is English society or British society and our traditional society. So the clash between Western and traditional African values. Okay, so for example, now Indians, as we Indians and as Africans, they have our own values, our own customs, our own beliefs. Okay, so there will always be a clash between our Western society and our Indian society or of African society. Okay, so that's what he's trying to explain in many of his novels, and how the colonialism affected in our society, I mean in the African society. That's what he talks about in many of his novels, and his style relies heavily on the Igbo oral tradition and combines straightforward narration with representation of folk stories, proverbs, and oratory. So it is in the oral form. Okay, most of his writings, okay, are in the Igbo oral tradition. Okay, like how they say a story. Okay, so that is how it is a oral narrative. Okay, most of his works are in the form of oral narrative, which is a Igbo tradition. Okay, and many folk stories like mythological stories or the stories which is related to their their place or society. Okay, and he also published a number of short stories, children's books, and essays collection. Some of his works are Things Fall Apart, Arrow of God, No Longer at Ease, Enemy of the People, Girls at War. So these are so many of the works he has written, and this is about Chinua Achebe as a writer. Okay. So here you can see some things about the lesson and what he writes about. Okay, so as we already know, Chinua Achebe is a Nigerian poet, writer, and he concentrated on judiciary and the system that is prevailing. Okay, so now what system do we have? Okay, on our system, on our society, that's what he writes about, and he also writes about the judiciary. Okay, legal system, and but he was more focused on colonization. Okay, so I will tell you when we start the chapter that what is colonization and post-colonialization effects in Nigeria and his stories and novels. So after colonization, like for example, when British invaded and they occupied our land, that is what is called, and they started living here, so that is what is called as colonization. When other countries come and colonize our place, our states, our homes. Okay, so yeah, post colonization effect. So after colonization, what has become to our society or Nigeria? Specifically here, he talks about Nigeria, and that's what he talks about in his stories and novels. Okay, so the lesson talks about how the election system works. Okay, this lesson, the author talks about the election system, okay, how it works in our society, and how money becomes dominant than ethics and morality. Okay, yeah, we already know that how money is very important when someone is standing for a post, okay, for a MLA or MP or president or prime minister, whatever it is. When there is elections, obviously money matters. Okay, money matters a lot, more than ethics and morality. Okay, money becomes dominant, and this chapter shows how election system works, and how in election system there is corruption, there is money, importance given to money. And yeah, his first novel Things Fall Apart in 1958, often considered as his masterpiece. Okay, so this is what we will be saying in this chapter about election system, how it talks about corruption, and how the importance is given to money. Okay. Okay, so we shall see the pre-reading activity which is given in your textbook. So it is basically a general question to think about for us. Okay, so the first question is, do you have a voting system in your college? So have you, like for example, now for your age, you might be 15, 16, okay, or 17. Okay, so you will get the right to vote above after 18. Okay, so you will have that right only after you cross 18. So before that, when will you experience this voting system? Okay, specifically you can experience this voting system in your college or in your schools when you elect a leader or captain. Okay, captain for your group, or your class mentor, or your class leader. Okay, class representative. Okay, so this is how you at this age you can elect someone. So that this is how you have seen voting system. So for example, in many colleges, when they elect like president, vice president, cultural secretary, sports secretary, treasurer. So we had in our college, we had five people, and that was as I already told you, president, vice president, treasurer, cultural secretary, and sports secretary. So we had five people, and we had seen that voting booth. Okay, voting booth. Yeah, we had a voting booth, and we used to go and vote five, I mean for the five people, like who we have to choose for president and vice president. So for everyone, like all five post, we have to choose. Okay, they used to give the right for students to choose their president for certain 2 years, maybe 1 year. Okay, maybe 1 year, I think. The next second year we will have another election. Okay, so that's how we had seen voting system in college. Okay, similarly in the same way we had booths, and we had that thumbprint. Okay, that thumbprint machine where we can vote. So that is how we voted our presidents, vice presidents in college. Okay, so that is how we have seen voting system. Maybe you also would see if there is a election to select a person. Okay, so then the second question, to what extent is voting important for democracy? So what is democracy? It is always for what is the definition, okay? Like for the people, by the people, and for the, I mean, to the people, okay? So it is almost for everything, for people, our citizens, our society, okay? So democracy is what talks about our people. We do everything for our people, for the people, by the people, to the people, okay? So like that, so it is for the people, okay? So how much important is a vote? It is one vote for the elections, or the person who is standing for election. It is very important. Even one vote counts, okay? And it is everyone's, each citizen's responsibility to vote when you have an opportunity, or when you have to elect a person. So you should not always waste your vote, because you many people don't have that right of voting, okay? Many places, many tribal people, they don't have the voting right, okay? So you have the right, and it is a time to choose your leader, okay? So you have to use that. So that is what it talks about, and we shall see how this chapter shows the importance of voting, and how the election system goes through, and we shall see many changes happening. So we shall see when we read the chapter day by day, okay? So and yeah, so these are the main three characters in the chapter. First one is Rufus Okeke. We can call him as Roof. He's called as Roof, and he's very learned, hardworking, humble, loved by the villagers. Okay. So then second one is Marcus Ibe, mission school teacher, minister of culture, loves his village and villagers. Umofia mission, okay, mansion. So we all will see what all are these when we read the text, when we go through the lesson, okay? So then the villagers, okay, there is a group of villagers and only few literates, okay, who trust and love both Marcus and Roof, had voted for free radical change, vote for profit. So all these points will we can see when we go through the chapter, okay? So yeah, three main characters, that is Rufus Okeke, Marcus Ibe, and villagers, and we shall continue in the next class.